Teach you introduction to the sketching. The first thing of all is sketching. Basically, first I already informed you or I already taught you how to hold a pencil. So the basic skill in sketching basically is what we call the stroke of the sketching. Stroke of the sketching. There are many types of stroke. Meaning, like this is a stroke. 45 degrees stroke. This angle. Crisscross, cross hatching, and then like that, like a wave, yeah, and then you can draw a box like this. See, we are playing a lot in horizontal and vertical. I want you to do like two boxes here, two boxes, one here and here and here and here, four boxes. Okay, what I would like you to understand is when you start doing pencil for sketching, you have to control your pressure for the pencil. I think most of you are using 2B pencil, which is quite soft. Soft meaning that you have a darker color. If you use H pencil, you have quite a fade color basically. What you need to put in the box basically to understand of pressure of your pencil. Now you have four boxes here, right? Four boxes here. First thing that you need to know, try to shade inside the box a very thin or a very light stroke. 45 degree. Okay? You do it very light, like that, a light touch to the paper, like that. The other box, you put a bit of pressure on your pencil, and then it's going to be slightly darker. Try to work within the box only, yeah? Look what I did, basically. One is lighter, one is darker. These two are the basic principle in sketching to differentiate when you want to create something like an object, and then to differentiate a certain angle in the object, you differentiate by using, this is what we call a tonality. You have to do a toning, and T-O-N-I-N-G, toning. Yeah, you have a different tone. You have a fade, and then you have a darker tone. If you have a HB pencil, you still can write a box now, which means that when you do, you can see what I'm doing now. If you use a HB, for example, do a normal shading here, which means that you can have a very light shade. But for the other box, you have to press a bit harder, or you have to maybe 2 or 3 times on top for you to get a darker one. Yeah, 2B pencil, normally you just put a bit of pressure to it, you can get a darker already, a darker tone. Usually when you start studying tonality, so I did another, now I will do 3 box now. 3 box now. One, you have to very light. Okay. Second, medium darker. And third one, put a bit of pressure on it, make it more darker. If you have HB pencil, maybe put another layer here. So you have 3, 1, 2, 3. 3 tonality. So example of tone. I will do 1 box here. Just want to show to you as example how we use the tonality basically. This is a very light. Yeah, this is darker. This is darkest. So that's how you create an object using tonality. It becomes 3D, right? It's just a sketch. So just using 3 types of tonality, 1, 2, 3, just using tonality only. It's just a sketch, basically, but you use like a box now. Now, when you're doing sketching, in order for you to control more on your tonality, normally, most of the artists, basically, they will take only one angle, which is the 40-degree angle for them to do the, like this. So, lighter, medium, darker. So when you're doing sketching, you have to practice. When start you doing shadow or tone, use a 45 angle and just control your pressure on the pencil in order to get the intensity on the tonality. If you don't want to draw box, you can do a freehand also. Tonality, what I did basically, it's like this. If you want to keep practicing, okay, light, darker. So basically, you try to control on one angle. Doesn't matter if you, for example, if you are more comfortable with vertical, for example, vertical line, that's why I did like this. You can do like that also. Because later on in sketching, you will meet this line. You will meet this angle. This is vertical angle, and then we use a 45-degree angle. This one is 90 degree. This is 45-degree angle. I want to give a tip now. Normally, when you start doing sketching like this, for example, you do like V tonality, you can see that behind of your hand become darker, right? Because if you put your hand on the pencil, normally on the cover, it will stick to your hand, and sometimes it will smudge your drawing, smudge your sketching. Sometimes it's good also to have your drawing or your sketch to be smudged. But then we tend to make it clean first before we smudge using our tonality. Now what I did now, I just want to show to you. I put my hand like this, and then my back of the hand become dark. So when you place your hand on the other part, a clean surface of the paper, it will stick and will become a bit darker, which is not nice. So how are you going to avoid that? How are you going to avoid from your paper not to be smudged by your back of the hand? Okay, some of the artists or some of people basically when they holding pencil, they don't rest all your hand on the paper. Some they use holding like this, holding pencil, and then only the tip of this finger touch the paper. It's a bit tricky, basically, but once you get used to it, then it's a lot easier. Anyway, there's a shortcut to it. If you feel that your hand become tired, basically, if you keep doing just, putting only one finger on the paper, you take another fresh paper, put on top, yeah, and then you rest your hand on that. So which means that when you draw, you always cover your drawing. I put another piece of paper here, put here to protect below, so your hand will not smudge the paper below. So you can draw without worry. See? So that's how you make sure your art or your sketches doesn't get smudged. Sometimes your hand will get sweat. So when you get sweat, you tend to smudge your paper. So if you put another part of paper here, like the paper or tissue, you can use a tissue also. You can use, and then you put it here, and then to protect it. We're gonna do a 3D staircase going down 3D sketches of staircase. Normally in drawing we draw 2D. 2D, two-dimensional. So when we introduce shadows, we will create a more 3D sketches. The sketch will become more 3D. So that's why if you go now in digital, they are developing like a virtual reality, which is more than 3D. So this is 4D or 5D, basically. 5-dimensional, which means that you have 5 angles to look at it. 3D, which means that 3-dimensional, 3 angle. You see one object at a 3 angle. So our eyes is much more complicated, whereby we see things in multiple dimensions. So that's why we can see people, as an object in a real life object. In sketching, basically, it's up to the individual to sketch. You don't have any constraint in your preference. What are some people, they are very good in sketching flowers. Some people very good in sketching cars or objects. Some people good in sketching other things. So it depends on the individual preference. So, for example, I like to do, I can sketch flower, I can sketch other things, but I prefer to do building, for example. I like to sketch building. So it's up to the individual. So throughout time also, when you develop sketching, some people try to do sketch for teachers, for example. So it's that the creativity, more creative, doing teacher design, creating a design form or design pattern for teacher. Now, when you do sketching also, bear in your mind that each of your sketching, you have to take like a preference. For example, some people will take flowers, but when it's sketched, it doesn't look like flowers. It becomes a pattern. For example, pattern for tattoo, pattern for clothing. Yeah. Okay. I just want to introduce today basically a very basic sketch using line first, and then afterward we're going to implement some tonality to it to make it more realistic. Now, first of all, you choose one part of your paper, maybe this upper part. I just want to draw a circular like this. Draw a circle. I will introduce to you how you gonna manipulate the technique of tonality. Now you have one plain circle. This is like a very 2D circle. Doesn't show any 3D. Yeah. When you doing sketching, basically, you have to bear in your mind where is the direction of the light. Because pencil, we only have a black color. So in order to make it to differentiate or to make your sketch become more realistic, you have to do tonality. When come to tonality, you have to bear in your mind the direction of the sunlight or natural light. Normally, we call it a sunlight. I call it a sunlight. It's a lot easier. So example that we easiest is to assume the sun is coming from this direction. So there's a sun here. Okay? Which means that now what I'm going to do here is to draw a ball. Okay? But at the moment it doesn't look like a ball, it's just like a circle. Now you assume your light, your sun is here, which means that you have the light direction from here to here, the sunlight. So you can see in your life, if you go outside, if the suns come out, whichever surface which is facing the sun is going to be brighter, right? Whichever the surface behind it is going to be darker, or you're going to have a shadow to it. Correct? Now, how are you going to interpret this on paper then? Okay? Now, first of all, you assume that the direction of the sun is going to be here, which means that most of this portion here, the upper portion here is going to be lighter, facing the light. Whichever at the back here is going to become darker. I will divide the ball into 3 parts. One part is going to be the one that facing directly to the sun. The other part is slightly at the side here, which is slightly less. And then the side at the back is going to be more darker. So you can use your technique now. You can darker first at the back. Whichever at the back, see that you have to follow the shape of the curvature of the ball at the back. So become darker and getting lesser and lesser. The tone become less tone and here at the back, basically you put darker because it doesn't the sunlight doesn't hit at the back, but it hit a bit at the side and then lighter in front. You see now, right? See this portion here facing the sunlight. You see that I made a bit of mistake here because I fill this part with pencil. So whereas this part actually is facing the sun, so it should be brighter. So the trick is, in order for you to get it, to rectify it, take your eraser, just erase a small part here, in front here, then it become lighter. So now you can see that the ball start doing the shaping now. Or become marble or become ball. Yeah, I think become ball is nicer. Yeah. Okay.